Battle Brothers, welcome to the ultimate roadmap wishlist for Space Marine 2. Whether you're a hardened veteran of the Adeptus Astartes or a fresh recruit, this video will explore the most epic and exciting potential expansions, characters and game modes that could keep Space Marine 2 alive and thriving for many years to come. So grab your bolter and let's dive into what the future of this game could hold. By now, it's no secret, we've seen the previews, I've played the game myself. It plays awesome, it feels awesome, it is true to the lore, and people, just fans in general, wants this game to succeed. So, how can this game succeed going forward, just beyond the initial release? Well, that's what we're here to find out. So, at the heart of Space Marine 2 lies its epic campaign. Now, imagine a roadmap where each season pass, spanning for 3 months or so, offers us a brand new story-driven campaign. This will be set on like different planets, and not just any planets, these are rich, detailed environments with their own unique flavors which bring the Warhammer 40k universe to life. Right, picture this, a brutal campaign set in the freezing, treacherous landscape of the snow-covered Valhalla, where survival is as much of a challenge as the enemies you face. Or for example, or a mission deep in the underbelly of a hive city where you're fighting in the labyrinth-like tunnels, facing traps. You know, each campaign should introduce a new enemy type with its own unique flavor tailored to these environments. So for example, in the Chaos Wastes or the Snow-Covered Wastes, you'll be fighting ferocious beastmen mutated by chaos, or native fauna and flora. Or for example, in the Hive City, you could be fighting against insidious gene-stealer cults or underground gangs. Using guerrilla tactics in tight claustrophobic spaces, the possibilities are endless here. Thus, each campaign mission could also bring a new lore-rich storylines that can deepen our understanding of the Warhammer 40k universe. However, if this game is to go the distance, multiplayer is where the meaty chunk of it is. So multiplayer in Space Marine 2 should be more than just combat. It should be an evolving battlefield, an evolving ecosystem with each season bringing fresh content and new challenges. Now imagine theme season dedicated, for example, to each of the Chaos Gods. So season 1 you could have Tzeentch, Khorne, following up the season after that, then Slaanesh, and then Nurgle, for example, each bringing their own unique influence to the game, but also their own unique enemy types. Now let's break it down, right? Season 1, let's say it's dedicated to Tzeentch, the Changer of Ways. The multiplayer maps will be filled with unpredictable, shifting architecture, very Tzeentch-like, where every match feels different. The map itself could be, you know, set with arcane traps, warping environments, challenges you to pretty much think strategically. Also, for example, for new multiplayer modes, it could include something like, say, arcane domination mode, where teams vie to control and hold volatile warp gates, gaining, you know, chaotic powers or whatever the case may be, or maybe close the chaotic gates, right, if you're playing against the forces of chaos. Also, something like a warped horde mode where you could be fighting like endless waves of Tzeentchian horrors that grow stronger, you know, with each wave, unless you do say specific things on the map. You know, the possibilities are almost endless here. Now let's look, like, for example, what season 2 could bring. Let's shift our focus to Khorne here, the Blood God. This season, for example, the maps are brutal, close quarter arenas where melee weapon combat is king. Blood flows freely as you engage in a non-stop high adrenaline battle. You know, a new gladiator mode where you're pitted like in 1v1 or 2v2 death matches with like unique Blood God mechanics. You know, for example, or like a battle royale, something that's flavored to Khorne. It's just, yeah, it gets me like so excited for this game. I honestly hope that they do explore all these different possibilities. Or for example, they could introduce like PvE mode where like you're just fighting berserker hordes of, like, you know, Khorne's Chosen or whatever the case may be. Or for example, let's just say season 3 it's Slaanesh, and you would expect the maps to be, you know, seductive, filled with traps to test your reflexes. You know, like, for example, something that's very Slaanesh, like when the enemies are very fast, they jump around from everywhere, they try to, to flank you, so on and so on. Or for example, season 4, when it's like Nurgle, obviously is going to be like decaying themes. The maps will be festering with like corruption, environments, you know, would be as dangerous as the enemies themselves. Like Plague Warfare would be the name of the game here, where you just might fight for control or like purification points, battling like both enemy forces and Nurgle corruption. As I said, guys, like it possibilities are endless. It also for PvE could introduce like endurance mode, and goes without saying that all the 4 Chaos Gods will be bringing their own enemies. If you haven't already seen my prior video, I made a video on what potential enemies Nurgle could bring to the table. And you have, you know, like Soul Grinders of Nurgle, you have the Terminators, it's just endless possibilities. For example, my ultimate favorite Chaos model is the Chosen of Nurgle. Like they're awesome looking figures, but also the Great Unclean ones. They just look awesome, and their personalities are so childlike. It's insane. Now we covered how each season could bring its own unique flavor. For example, with the Chaos Gods. Now they could go a step further, and for example, for the Tzeentch season, they could introduce Ahriman, who's the infamous Sorcerer of a Thousand Suns, and his abilities could include, you know, powerful psychic attacks. For example, taking control of your teammates, summoning warp storms, or pretty much opening portals to bring even more enemies. And for example, the season pass could also be themed around Tzeentch, obviously, because that'll be his dedicated season. Now, if we move over to Khorne, for example, they could introduce someone like Kharn the Betrayer, who would be a perfect for this theme, who's a Khorne Berserker of unmatched fury. And for example, Khan's gameplay would focus on, you know, relentless aggression, uh, melee combat, and for example, the more enemies you kill, the more powerful you become. And also, obviously, he would bring his own unique gear and weapons list. For example, chain axes. We don't have chain axes yet. Now, moving on to Slaanesh, for example, they could bring like Lucicus the Eternal, who's a champion of Slaanesh, who's known for speed and precision, and therefore the season pass will be geared around Slaanesh, and you know his gear will be like sleek and deadly, and designed for mobility and precision. So perfect for players, for example, who would enjoy a fast-paced, high-skill gameplay. And last but not least, how can we forget Grandfather Nurgle? Season 4 could, you know, round things up with like Typhus, Herald of Nurgle, and Typhus would bring abilities that spread corruption and plague across the battlefield, weakening enemies over time, and, you know, creating zones of denial, so on and so on. So his sort of gear and theme play will be more around heavily armored, endurance, not so fast, but more so for those who enjoy a good battle of attrition and like to outlast their opponents. And this is where it possibly can get even more exciting with the possibility of future expansions for Space Marine 2, because the game has such a solid foundation, the way the combat feels, and the lore that it's set in. The possibilities are endless here. So for example, first expansion could be the rise of the Dark Mechanicum. So for those who are not aware, the Dark Mechanicum, once loyal to the Emperor, has fully embraced the worship of chaos. They've turned their knowledge of machinery and technology to dark purposes. And in this expansion, players will face off against the heretical tech priests and their abominable creatures, or creations should I say. The story could revolve around a mission to stop the Dark Mechanicum from unleashing devastating new war machine, or, you know, you just need to go and stop their Forge Worlds. And we could get new enemy types like corrupted tech priests, demon engines, like blood drones or decimators. We could also get like a final boss to be like a titan or something that's controlled by Dark Mechanicum. So possibilities, as I said, are endless. We could get new weapons like melter guns or haywire grenades. We'll get like new planets, which will be like industrial forge worlds with like hazardous environments and toxic waste pools, true to the lore. And also they could even introduce new mechanics to the game if they wanted to. Then next expansion could be, for example, Shadows of Camorra, which is the dark labyrinthine city of Camorra, filled with, you know, spires, shadows, and ancient alien architecture. The storyline, for example, could be, you know, taking us to the heart of the Dark Elder home city, or maybe even a planet that's occupied by them, and where we need to go rescue someone. I mean, as I said, possibilities are endless. We got a clean slate here, and I hope the developers use it to its maximum potential. Like, just imagine we'll get new enemy types like Dark Elder Warriors, Incubi, Witches, Archons, Succubi. Like, it's so exciting just the thinking of the possibilities. We could get like new exotic weapons from Dark Elder. They have some really cool melee weapons, long range sniper rifles. We could get new environments like the twisted streets and alleys of Camorra. We could get battle arenas. Hell, they could even like introduce a new PvE mode where you're like in the arena and you're facing off after like wave and wave after enemy. Kind of similar to Horde mode, but you know. Or for example, they could do a something that's not as, I guess, far-fetched. Could be like the Crusade of the Black Legion. So they, or the Sabbath Wars. You know, for example, where you square off the legions led by Abaddon the Despoiler, and you're trying to stop him. We get to encounter like Black Legionnaires, Demons of Chaos. We could fight Abaddon the Despoiler himself with his unique sword. We could get like new relic weapons blessed by the Emperor to counter the power of Chaos. We could even get Grey Knights. Guys, Ace is freaking... It's a rabbit hole. We just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. I mean, imagine if we got the Necrons, for example, right? Dark Necro... sorry, not Dark Necrons, but Necrons awakening across the galaxy, and the Space Marines are called to stop their advance. And we get Necron Warriors, Canoptic Constructs, we get Overlords, Catan Shards. You know, we could even get Ghost weapons or ancient relics. We get like Necron Tomb Worlds. And just thinking about it gets me so excited. This is just part one of this video. I'll probably release another second part where I dump even more ideas when we brainstorm. Let me know in the comment section below what you would like to see. As I say, this is a clean slate. It's so freaking exciting. I'm so pumped. I've already completed the campaign twice. I've played the PvE mode. I'm super pumped for this one.